Alright guys, using some certain tools to make awesome wire connections, okay? So, a lot of people, you may find that you get these with your aftermarket accessories. These are super cheap. The plastic is very hard. They're garbage, alright? As well as these here. Sometimes I can see their purpose, but oftentimes it breaks the wire, bad connection, garbage. I've seen these. These work okay, but the plastic's too hard. To me, it doesn't get a very, very tight connection. Some of them I've seen work well, but I don't trust them. So to me, they're garbage. House connectors. Don't use these. Garbage. What we're going to do is learn how to heat shrink, learn how to do waterproof connectors, and how to set the wires up to be either A, soldered correctly, and then heat shrunk to make sure that it's a long-lasting solder or a long-lasting connection for whatever you want to do. So, wire strippers, very common. I'm sure you know how to use them. I'm going to show you some techniques that I use for these. Honda wiring usually is 14 and 16 gauge wires. They use the 16 gauge, which is smaller, for like main harnesses, and they'll step it up depending on the need. So like stators, they'll go even bigger for high output, like battery powered stuff. So cables that go straight to the starter, you know, all depending on what it needs, the load it needs, they'll change the wiring. But typically 14 and 16 is your safe zone. So another thing that you will use are crimpers. Okay, if you don't own these, you need to go get some. These are for using on terminals like these. Okay, so these are all obviously unused. We got bullet style, which is here. Of course, you got male and female bullet style. You got your typical flat style that are open end flat. You can put on the frame grounds or on the battery. They have double blade style, so like if you're using like a ground or a power wire that needs to have two, or you have two options coming out, you can plug this into one and then have another one coming straight out of it. They're really useful. So these crimpers, this is the business end right here. This is all you got to worry about, and I'll show you guys how to use those. Now, so let's say we want to make a double wire male terminal. Alright, so what I'm going to do is typically grab a wire, hit it with my strippers to get some meat off. I'm usually going to go about that much. So let's say it's about a little over a 1/4 inch here. I'm going to grab one more, do the same thing. Certain things I'll take more off, but this is really all I need for this because I'm using 2 wires. So what I do is I'll take these two, spin them together, just like that, and I'll take it in half and give it a little hook and fold it back. Okay? Now I'll take this, put it into my blade terminal, and with 2 wires, with these style, which are very, very common Honda wires, you can actually line these up side by side to fit snug in there, and I'll show you guys what I mean. You can see that? They're going to sit side by side right next to these 2 feet, and this big fat metal section is going to sit right into that next phase. So what I'm going to do now is take my crimpers. You see on the crimpers you'll have a wavy side, almost like a W, and the other side is a hooked end. Alright, so that's what will bend it around. So what we'll do is, I'll find these are labeled as 2.0. So I'm going to hit that side first, which is the smaller end, and I'll make sure that meat is still in there of the wire, but not going to go too far up into the blade because that blade has to sit up in there as well. So I'll crimp this down. I'll do a soft one in the middle, and I'll do 2 more firmer ones right in the same area. So now that you see, that's completely crimped down on top of that metal. That is a solid crimp. Okay, now I'll take this bigger end, On these pliers, it'd be the 5.5. Grab this bigger end. Sometimes they're a little too wide, so I'll just bend this in like that, and then crimp that in. Do it kind of slowly just to make sure that you are all lined up, because sometimes they can twist and don't go down as evenly as you would like. I'm going to give it one firm push, and look at that. It's completely crimped those two wires together. This is a perfect blade style, and then you can use this inside of a connector, or if you want to make a double ground or a double power, so you get two different things that need a ground. There you go. You just made it. So, some options that what I would do around this connector.